one of the people I'd like to talk about is CM Punk. CM Punk was a very, very popular professional wrestler, especially in his time in the WWE. He had a big falling out in the WWE, said he would never go back, and he just recently went back. But during that little hiatus from the WWE, he had the desire to go to UFC. I don't know if he thought he was going to try to follow in Brock Lesnar's footsteps. Now, Brock Lesnar was a renowned amateur wrestler, a very, very tough guy. CM Punk didn't have any of that in his background. I don't think he had any MMA in his background. And he wanted to go into the professional leagues of mixed martial arts. And it did not go so well for him. Did you get to see the fights that CM Punk had in UFC?
I think when did that last? It was not a very good entry level event for him to go right to something like that. I don't even know. He had to have had at least a few matches before that, some amateur matches, so he had to have at least some kind of training with it. I don't think that the UFC would have simply just allowed somebody with no background, no nothing, simply to jump into it. But at the same token, yeah, they did, because the UFC, when it first began, none of the guys had any history of matches in the UFC because it was first beginning. So you had all these purists that this guy was just a karate guy, this guy's just a jiu-jitsu guy, this guy's just an amateur wrestler, this guy's just a boxer, this guy. So they came from one-dimensional backgrounds, and then as the sport continued on, people that might have been from that grappling category simply saw the importance of knowing something about the stand-up arts, how to strike, how to block, and then the strikers saw that the importance of learning something, how to grapple, because if I miss my punch, I miss my kick, my knee, my elbow, and now I've got this grappler that now has either clinched me or taken me down. I at least know some basic survival skills of what to do in order to get back out and get back up to my strength. So the sport has gone full circle from one-dimensional athletes to today some of the most well-rounded athletes, period.
Well, and so, you were 36 and a half.
Yeah, I would just say 37, but it makes it a little bit easier to say, yeah.
Yeah, I just say 37 in your first match, but you had like a lot of knowledge, especially in amateur wrestling, that you brought to the cage and fighting.
Thousands and thousands of amateur wrestling matches, but folk style, collegiate, freestyle, Greco, but then I also did some judo things. I did some sambo things. Even did a tough man thing. So again, I just, before ever embarking upon my UFC career, I say UFC career because that was the only company it existed at the time. So a lot of people, when they talk about mixed martial arts, at that time they just simply called you're doing that UFC fighting. So it was always UFC fighting because it was the only company known. Now you have other companies that are doing this. So now you have to simply look at the category as MMA, mixed martial arts.
Now, CM Punk got signed by the UFC in 2013 with very little mixed martial arts experience, and he had his first match at 38. Do you think that's something that should have been allowed, Dan?
Well,
I say the same thing about slap fighting. I'm not going to blame Dana. Dana made money off of it. It was an attraction, but I don't know. At the same time, should it have been allowed?
We could speculate on that one, all the pieces. I mean, all I could simply do is look at is what were the end results. It wasn't a good night. Okay, so to me, it was if you could, if CM Punk could have had a dream and envisioned what was going to happen, maybe he would have changed his mind at that point in time. It probably would have been a better choice for him to have done something like that. And again, I'm not trying to put nothing, say nothing bad about CM Punk, but he jumped into something that I don't think he was really ready for.
Well, so we got to give him one thing. It took balls to get in there.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah, it took balls to get in there, but I mean, the inevitable happened.
I don't know if our female viewership will understand about that aspect right there.
I don't know. Some of them nowadays might, Dan.
Well, this is true. This is true. Okay, we don't. Anyone can watch the program. We don't discriminate there whatsoever. We're basically, as I always tend to say, we're just giving them our viewpoints.
Some of them might have mustaches like yours.
Well, that's maybe we
Could
should
you imagine going up against a woman that had a mustache like yours, Dan?
Well, again, I think I could handle that one, but if she had a mustache like Don Fry, I don't know if I could handle that one.